Hey there, what's going on? What's the haps? Hello, everybody. This is Holly Katz, your favorite personal stylist, the hostess with the mostest, and as always, the only Holly you need to know. BFD alert, just so you know, BFD alert. We have one of the biggest guests in the history of the Fashion Crimes podcast. I am so excited. I don't want to waste any more time. Damn it. Let's welcome Nicole Miller to the show. Thank you so much for joining us, Nicole. We are stoked.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. It seems like a lot of fun.
You are the best. We are so excited. I'm going to jump right into it because everyone is freaking out that you are a guest today on the Fashion Crimes podcast. I want to start out by saying thank you for joining us. We are so excited to have you, and we want to know, I know that you have so many big things coming up and going on, and we're going to get to all of that, your award and Hamptons Fashion Week and all this kind of stuff. But for people who aren't familiar with Nicole Miller, the brand, tell us your history, your journey. Tell us in a few minutes and a quick synopsis of how you came to be.
Is there anybody out there that doesn't know who I am?
I would agree with you, but you would be shocked. You would be shocked.
Anyway, we started my business in 1982, and it was a dress line. And, you know, we started on very little money. So it was really important that the first collection went out and sold. And the first collection did fantastically, which gave us enough cash flow to keep going. But anyway, I had been in business like, I don't know, like 5 years. And I kept saying to my partner, we should have a fashion show. And he's like, no, we're not having a fashion show. So instead we opened up a store on Madison Avenue. And so when I opened the store in Madison Avenue in about 1987, 1988, we decided to make these ties. So when women were shopping, they would buy ties for their husband, or if the husband's waiting around, he would like buy some ties. So we made these crazy conversational ties. And unbelievably, they took off, like huge. So then I had both the dress business and this crazy men's tie business, which expanded into, you know, boxer shorts and camp shirts and all kinds of things. But still, I was very frustrated. I hadn't had my fashion show. So finally, spring 91, I go, I'm having my fashion show, and that's it. So since then, so we've had 30 years of fashion shows, and we've been in business 40 years now. And, you know, one thing, now you were saying, you know, women over 40, and I go, it's not about an age. It's just about how you feel about yourself and your body type and that sort of thing. So I feel like my clothes still have a young attitude, and, you know, I just say it's a young attitude, and, you know, where would you feel comfortable with? And I hope that a lot of people of a lot of ages wear my clothes.
Getting to that, who do you say the Nicole Miller target customer is? That brings up a good point.
Well, I always say she's like the modern girl, modern woman. She's the girl on the go. She could be married, she could be single, but she's juggling going to yoga class and the gym and maybe kids or maybe not kids. But she's really always up to date, and she has a sense of humor, and she enjoys life.
I love that. And tell us, you know, you had a series of stores at one point, obviously, I think in the 90s, and then you are strictly online now. Is that correct?
Uh-huh.
And tell us.
Anyway, my reasoning behind that. Well, what happened, I first opened up my store on Madison Avenue, which was fabulous. And then I had my fabulous store on Sunset Plaza in LA. And I loved being in these storefronts, on little shopping streets. But somehow we got kind of conned into being in malls. And then, if you were in one mall, you couldn't be in one mall unless you were in 3 malls. So you'd be in like 1 good mall and 2 loser malls or something. And it was always a problem. And then there was like crime and shoplifting. And there were, in one mall in particular, the girls would start to lock the doors because they had to be there 7 days a week and be open till 9 o'clock because those were the mall's demands or whatever requirements. So anyway, I got really fed up with that. And at one point we had 30 stores, but I said, I'm done with the malls. The minute the leases expire, I'm going to not keep them. So we got out of the mall stores eventually, and we still had Sunset Plaza, and we had Miami and New York, and those were like my key stores. I was very happy in keeping those. And then I don't know, somebody came along and offered us money for our lease on Madison Avenue, and we were like, should we renovate or should we just get out of it? So it was a lot of different reasons. And then the pandemic came, and I was like glad to be out of the stores because the rents were going up and crazy. So every store kind of closed for a different reason. But then I was happy that we kind of made that decision. So I was really happy when the pandemic hit, and I had no leases over my head.
Well, you sure are lucky because a lot of people have lost their jobs and taken a tremendous hit, and you seem to dodge that bullet right before.
Yeah, I totally dodged a bullet before that happened. Yes.
That's
exactly.
incredible. So your online sales now, would you say they have improved, or are you growing? Are you?
Oh no, the online sales are way ahead. Way ahead.
Great.
Online sales, yes.
And are you showing at New York Fashion Week this fall?
I am not, and I'm not because we're doing the 40th year anniversary retrospective, and we were actually going to put that on during Fashion Week, but then we decided that was not really a bad idea because everybody's going to be doing spring and getting their reviews, and it seemed like the wrong time to do it. So we're going to kind of wait past Fashion Week, probably in October, and show our 40th anniversary retrospective.
That's incredible. I'm so excited to see it. So let's start at the beginning. So you love art and city exploration. Tell us about your inspiration and how a garment comes from your brain to sketch, to sample, to the garment line.
Well, one thing I have to say, I think when I started out and I went to design school, I went to Rhode Island School of Design, and I went to school in Paris, and I have a very technical as well as an art background. And I feel like a lot of designers today, they're either influencers or socialites or celebrities or whatever. And there's designer kids in the back room designing those collections. And I feel like it's kind of a sad state. I don't think it's as much in Europe as it is here. But, we're a country that's really kind of very driven by social media and celebrities. So I always get asked, what do you tell young designers today that are trying out? And I said, it's a different world today. It's a very different world. You're going to be competing against lots of different people. But anyway, I started out, going to those design schools, and I always feel like I've been very inspired by art, architecture, old movies, travel, a lot of different places I find inspiration. And it's just when I'm always searching for that idea, and every year it's a search to come up with the big idea. But eventually, we tear our hair out, and the idea eventually comes, and then everybody powwows about it, and and then we do boards and concepts, and then I still do a lot of sketching and sketch a lot of the designs myself, and then I have pattern makers who would make the first samples, or if it's something more complicated, like a beaded dress that goes to India. So we do a, design package and send it overseas to make the first sample. So things happen a lot of different ways. But I've always believed in the drape, and I'm always very much into the shape of the clothing and the silhouette of the clothing. And that's always very important to me.
That's incredible. So, you've been doing this for 40 years. I mean, that's a long time. Did you ever think about doing anything else?
Not really, but my big hobby is cooking. So I love to. During the pandemic, I cooked a different meal every night. And it's funny because my mother was French, so I grew up with a lot of French cooking, but oddly enough, I cook a lot of Asian food, very much into cooking Thai food or Vietnamese food or, some foreign culture. And it was kind of funny. During the pandemic, I tried to cook from all these different countries. So it was an interesting experience.
Do your design innovations, do they come from European influence? Do you travel to other countries? Do you get vintage fabric and textiles? Do you tell us a little bit about that?
I mean, all of those things at different times. I mean, every year is different, but I did go to Tulum once for a vacation, and I was very inspired by all the Mayan ruins. And so we did a collection around that. And I was in Thailand right before the pandemic. So I did a collection, all with the elephants and it was, and the elephants are really quite fascinating creatures. I was very inspired by that. So sometimes it's travel. Sometimes it might be an old movie I saw. And sometimes it's like an art show or like an architecture or, like maybe like an incredible book, I feel like in my house, I have so many coffee table books and everybody has these books and you never go through them. But, sometimes I've just been like at home and, I haven't looked at that book in a while, and it just sparks an idea.
I mean, you look so young and you act so young and you're hip. I mean, what do you tell women your age or below or around your age? What do you say to them who are stuck or they don't really know about fashion, but they want to elevate their style? What would be your advice for someone who doesn't really know what to do to get to that, to elevate their style?
I have to say, I feel like women are big complainers a lot, and they're always complaining about their weight for sure. And they're complaining about this or that or whatever. And I always say, you have to focus on what your best asset is and think about what your best asset is and like use that to define your style. So, some people might have a tiny waist or a great cleavage or something, but everybody has one thing that they're proud of or is their best asset.
Right.
And I always say, like, focus on that. Like, if you have killer blue eyes, maybe you should wear blue. But I think you have to really identify what your strengths are and focus on that to define your style. And, I just think I hate it when people say to me, oh, I'm too old to wear that, or I'm too this to wear that, or I can't do that. But a lot of people are just like timid and afraid. And I feel people like, you just have to jump in there and go for it. Anyway, those are my tips. And not everything is right for everybody, but I always have this issue with like magazines that say what to wear when you're 20, what to wear when you're 30, what to wear when you're 40 and whatever. And, I'd be asked a lot of times to be in those issues and I would refuse. Like, I don't want to be in an age-defying, defining outfit. I mean, I want to be an age-defying, not age-defining.
I love that. I love that you have the power to say, I don't want to be defined by a number. This is who I am. This is what I do. But I think if you don't live in a metropolitan area, do you agree that it's a little bit harder to get up that courage to maybe do something or pull something off that normally, people around you aren't doing?
I'm all about fearless females. So I think there's fearless females everywhere and they couldn't be anywhere. And like everybody's got access to the internet, access, to every fashion magazine, and everybody, who's got access to all this media wherever they are, even in like, small town. And there's some people who are going to be fearless and some people who are not. And I just think everybody should pull out their fearlessness and go for it.
I love that. I try to encourage people as well you don't have to be this, you don't have to be that. You have to be what you want to be. And sometimes you've got to really push people to get them to that next level because they don't understand the power that they do have. Like you said, you should be fearless. You should wear what makes you feel good, especially if you feel like you're approaching an age that is making you feel uncomfortable. You need to step into that, lean into that. What are some other fashion, like accessory things that you love to wear? Tell us what your favorite thing is, your favorite zhuzh or your favorite jewelry. I see that you wear.
Well, I really like, I'm really a big fan of the necklaces we made, and we have some great necklaces and they're all like multi-charm. I have one here. I didn't wear it today because it was like, it's too hot, but we can see it.
Oh, I love it.
Like multi-strand things with little icons on them. But
so cool.
I love these. And I have gold ones and silver ones, and they have different motifs on them. So, I mean, all my jewelry is a little bit whimsical, and they always have a lot of like icons and things on them, but they're really fun. Um, so mostly I'd say I wear necklaces, but obviously for events, I'll, wear big earrings, but for every day, I kind of wear smaller earrings.
Got it.
And, bracelets sometimes, but I'm really more about the necklace because I always think that puts your outfit together.
I agree with you. I think good jewelry really goes a long way. Tell us, like, when you're getting dressed in the morning, whether you go to the office or whether you're hanging out with friends or what do you do? Do you have kind of like a uniform that you wear every day, or do you dress according to your mood?
I have a few uniforms, and there's a few. I mean, I was really into bell-bottom pants this year again, so I had like 10 pairs of bell-bottom pants.
Love those. Love
and
those.
Yeah, and some were more tailored, some were more stretchy, some were denim, some were whatever. So, I've sort of been into the tight legging mode and skinny jeans, but it's moved away from that this year, and totally changed my like silhouette direction.
Okay, Nicole. So let's talk about your new Designer of the Year award. Tell us all about your award, how it came about, what it was like. Tell us everything. And congratulations, by the way. Mazel tov, congratulations. It's incredible.
So last weekend, there was Hamptons Fashion Week, and I was the honoree for the Hamptons Fashion Week. And it was perfect timing for me because it is our 40th anniversary. So I got to show a retrospective of a lot of my favorite pieces over the years. And, because it was, a million degrees,
yes.
Very hot here this summer. I showed all summer clothes. I didn't really show any fall clothes. So everything was, summer, but I showed some of my more whimsical things. And one thing that was a big hit was the sweet and low dress. Everybody was like very excited about seeing the sweet and low dress. And they were from my first show in spring 91. So, I had a little, kind of an eclectic grouping of things. I could only show 25 things, but it was nice because it was maybe a mini version of what we're going to do in the fall in October. So it was sort of maybe having a dry run for a bigger show later. But anyway, they gave me the Icon Award, the Fashion Icon Award, and being the honoree. It was a lot of fun, and it was great. And I think the Hamptons Fashion Week is just going to be a bigger and bigger thing.
Is this new, Hamptons Fashion Week?
It's about 4 years old. Yeah, it's about 4 years old. And Candace Bushnell gave me like the honor. She made a little speech, and she made a hilarious speech. It was really fun.
I love that. That's so exciting.
Yeah. So it was fun. And and it was great. And they got us great models, and it was just a really, really fun show. And I think everybody had a lot of energy to it because everything was kind of fun or whimsical or colorful. It had a lot of attitude. So I think it was a really, really fun show.
Do you have children and dogs and things like that?
Yes, I have a child and a dog.
Oh, very nice.
And my son is 26 and the dog is about 10 or 11.
Do you give your son fashion advice, or is he too cool for that?
I do. And it's kind of funny. Like when he was a kid, he wore all like trendy black clothes. He won't wear black. He goes, I don't wear black clothes. I'm like, but you look really good in black clothes.
Well, that's so fun.
More of a blue person.
That's so fun to have Nicole Miller as your mom. How exciting is that? And you guys, did you raise him in New York City? Did you grow up in New York City?
No, I grew up in Massachusetts.
Oh, you did?
But I was born in Texas. So we went from Texas to California and ended up in Massachusetts.
Tell us some of your favorite movies that you get inspiration from. Do you love watching old movies, fashion movies, new movies?
Well, I like both. I mean, I really did like all those movies of the 60s. And then I like things like Blow Up, I liked anything with like, Verushka and Twiggy and that, and Gene Shrimpton, any of those movies. I loved all those kind of fashion movies. And then I do like, anything old with like Joan Crawford or, that period, any of those movie stars. So, obviously Audrey Hepburn's always a good one too. But, and then more recent movies, I don't know. I mean, not as much for more recent movies, more older movies.
Do you feel like it's hard to keep changing, to keep adapting your clothing, or do you have a set aesthetic that you always use when you're designing your clothes? Do you feel like the world, I mean, because fashion is so fickle.
Well, I do and I don't, but I feel like if I looked at all my clothes for the past 40 years, there was always that sense of whimsy and humor in a lot of things. And there were a few collections that were like a little bit conservative. And I kind of go, well, what was I thinking that season? You know? And, it's funny, but most collections I can see myself in, but there's a few, and there's like one season, I have like not one piece from that season, like not one piece of clothing that I save. And I go, well, I know why I didn't like anything.
I mean, I can't even imagine what your closet looks like. I mean, how big is it? I mean, do you have like storage rooms full of stuff? I can't even imagine.
I don't have a very big closet, because what happened is I would take, if I had something, I would put it in the archives closet. So I have a big archives closet here. So very often, after the season, I would put it in the archives closet.
I gotcha. Do you pull, I mean, when you go to events and stuff, I'm sure you do you have the ability to pull from the,
I can just go to the closet and wear something.
That's incredible.
And everything's my size, which is perfect. Everything's my size pretty much.
Yes. What's your next new big event? I guess that was Hamptons Fashion Week, and then you're going to show after Fashion Week. What's next for you?
In October. That's the only thing that's planned right now is our October retrospective. So that should be fun. And it might be at the UN at this point, or it might be, it might be at the UN, or it might be at the surrogate courthouse. So we're looking at locations right now.
That's incredible. Now, so you're making you have necklaces right now. What other accessories, are big sellers for you?
Well, we have, shoes. Our shoes are huge. And then handbags, shoes. I think those are primarily our biggest accessory. Well, obviously eyewear, sunglasses, and reading glasses and everything are optical, are very big.
So it's so interesting to me to see the trend cycle and things come back. What is your favorite thing that's come back? And what is your least favorite thing that you've seen come around? You're like, I wore that in high school. I'm not wearing that anymore. Tell us your favorite and your least favorite.
I always like stirrup pants. I mean, like when people wear stirrup pants with high heels, like I don't think I ever wore them with high heels, but I did have stirrup pants. But that stirrup pant and high heel look, oh my God. But it's funny, having said that, I've seen some people do a campy take on it. So it almost works if you're like a cool person and you could get away with it. But for the most part, I think that's a really bad look. But I was happy to see bell bottoms come back.
Me too.
Yeah, I was really happy. And I don't know about high-waisted jeans. It's like not a good look on me. So
well, I always like to say if you want to define your waist, that's a good look, but you might not need that, everything. You got a sample size closet full of clothes, but I do love the high-waisted jean for myself personally. Tell us some shoe trends that are going on right now. Well,
I think, everybody was so casual with the sneakers and everything so I think everybody's really back to, stilettos and really like sexy dress up shoes again. And the thing is, I am so unused to wearing them. I mean, I had to wear like high heels on Saturday night. And oh my God, I just kept tripping over everything. And finally, at the end of the night, I took my shoes off.
Totally.
I said, that's it. I'm taking these shoes off. I can't walk another step.
It's easy to get out of practice if you're not used to wearing high heels, very used to that.
I know, and I used to be so stable on them. And I pulled out a pair of shoes I'd bought to go to CFDA awards or something like a couple of years ago. I literally could not balance on them. I don't know how I ever walked in them, but it was I thought, I'm not leaving the house in these because I'm going to kill myself. But I found another pair that was more stable, that worked better.
That's awesome. So let's talk about outerwear for just a minute. So in New York City, you're a victim of the elements. It rains sideways. It's snowing all the time. It's sunny. It's hot. It's cold. Do you have any do you make outerwear? Are you interested in outerwear? I'm scared to ask how many coats you have. I'm sure you have a million coats, but what are you guys into outerwear at the Nicole Miller office?
Well, yeah, we do have an outerwear license, but one of my first design jobs was designing raincoats. And I used to just be obsessed with raincoats. I had so many raincoats and I was just always looking for the coolest raincoat. And so we usually include like maybe one in the collection or something, but we have a licensee that makes it. But what's happened is everybody wears a parka now. Everybody's in a parka coat. And that's like if you are in New York in the winter, everybody's in a parka coat. Well, nobody can wear fur anymore. So you don't see fur anymore, and you barely see a fur collar. But everybody's in a parka coat and nothing else. I think that's all it's selling.
Right. I mean, I love a trench. I love a raincoat, but I never seem to be able to time it because you come out of work and then all of a sudden it's raining. So you either don't bring your coat or it's too cold in the morning.
Oh, right. I know the whole thing. I know. I can't tell how many times I've left my raincoat at home and it's pouring rain, or I left it in the country or whatever. And, it's like always in the wrong place. The raincoat is in the right place at the right time.
You always say in New York.
A lot of umbrellas. At least we have a lot of umbrellas around here.
I was about to say, if you don't want it to rain, then bring an umbrella, because then it'll never rain. If you don't have an umbrella, it will for sure rain. Always. Yeah. Always.
Yeah. Oh, that's like if I go to Paris, I always bring an umbrella. And because it rains in Paris.
Do you go to Paris do you go for vacation, or you go for work?
I can't imagine going to Paris on vacation. That would be the last place I would go on vacation.
What's that like? So you're going to meet people there. Tell us what you do in Paris.
I used to always go to the fabric shows. Oh. I would go every year to the fabric shows, and sometimes twice a year or whatever. But lately I've been going to London more than Paris, because then I go to the art fairs. So, and I actually find London a better city for shopping. It has like better department stores and better stores and more stores. I don't know. I think London is really just the best place for shopping.
Do you have any other favorite, tell us about some brands other than your brand that you maybe like, or that you've seen your friends wear? Do you have anything that sticks out to you?
I don't wear any other brands.
Oh, you don't?
No.
And you're making all of your bell-bottom denim too? Who's making making the?
Yeah, our Denim Licensing.
I love that.
I have to say there's I have had a few impulse buys, and I did buy an off-white jacket about 2 or 3 years ago at the Webster in Miami. And it's like camouflage, but I love camouflage, and I will keep that jacket forever.
Yeah.
And there was another Japanese jacket I bought, and it's a really unusual brand. I don't even know. It's like a long number or something. I don't remember what it is. And that's like a jacket that I treasure. I'll have that forever. So there's like an occasional piece now and then that I'll get, but I don't know. I don't really see that many things I want.
Yeah. It's hard when you're around it all day because you're a tough customer.
Yeah. And it's hard for me to wear somebody else's dress. So so I might wear somebody else's shoe, or I might wear somebody else's jacket, but I wouldn't wear somebody else's dress.
Yeah, I understand. I get that. Because when you get a compliment, are people like, I love your dress, where you get it? Do you say, oh, I made it? Is that what you say?
Well, the funniest thing though, is that a few times I have worn other people's clothes to my event. Like I had this vintage John Galliano.
Oh, wow.
Really cool. And it was a Spanish event, and the thing had like feathers and whatever. Every picture said Nicole Miller in her own design. Nobody even asked me whose it was. Well, it's fine. Happy to take credit, whatever. And then another time I wore a Christian Lacroix dress that I had bought years ago. And I wore that. Every picture said Nicole Miller in her own design.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I couldn't even give these designers credit. So.
I'm sure you pulled it off beautifully. I love that. I want to know, when you're out and when you're looking at architecture, and do you keep a sketchbook with you at all times so you can write things down?
I can draw stuff on my phone.
Oh yeah.
I always have stylus, and I have Sketchpad on my phone. And then you can take pictures too. Oh
yeah, of course. I like to keep
It's funny because I used to go around with a little sketch pad. I always had a little sketch pad in my purse, but now I've got my camera and I've got a stylist, so it's all I really need.
And do you give advice like you had mentioned before to young designers today? Do you like to show people what, you obviously like to show people what it was like when you were coming up, but today with the computer, with the CAD and all that kind of stuff, do you think it's harder or do you think it's easier to get into the industry as a designer?
Well, I always recommend that people get internships,
Right.
because I think internships are really helpful. But I know that a lot of these kids today, they come out of design school and they don't want an internship. They just want to go right into their own business.
Right.
So I feel everybody just wants to be in their own thing right away. So I don't know. I mean, I don't get that many people asking me for advice.
I'm asking you for advice. I think you're a wealth of knowledge that people need to know.
No, but also interestingly enough, we have a lot of interns every year.
Mm-hmm.
And this summer we had a lot of interns and none of them were design interns. They were all either social media or they were in a merchandising. They were all kind of in a different area from actual design. So, but even some years I have a lot of design people, but this year I didn't have any.
Oh, do you take obviously anybody who's interested in, helping your business, social media? What other departments do you have?
Well, I mean, there's merchandising, there's PR, social media, licensing. I mean, there's different areas, but it just every year is different. So
yeah. And so what can we expect? I know you have your big collection coming out, but do you immediately start working on the next season? Are you 2 seasons ahead? Are you looking at
just one season ahead?
And do you make swimwear?
Yes, we do.
Amazing. I love that because I'm always looking for the best. People are asking me, what are the best bathing suits and what's the best tops? How long have you been doing swimwear?
Well, that also is done by a licensed company as well. So I don't know, probably 10 years or so.
And what haven't you done? Pajamas?
We have pajamas.
Oh, you have pajamas. Is there anything you haven't covered?
Well, I have a rosé. Did you know I have a rosé?
Well, I would like to try it. Where's your rosé?
And it's French. It's from Bordeaux.
I love it. Is it sweet or is it dry?
Of course, it's not sweet.
Oh, it's dry. Okay. And
nobody likes sweet rosé, do they?
Well, I mean, I don't like it too dry. I like a little sweet.
Anyway, it's from Bordeaux. I think it's very good.
And did you go? What was the process on that? Did you go and?
Well, actually, it was kind of we did the tasting here. We did all the tasting here. But my friend works with the chateau, so he brought all the wine here for the tasting.
That sounds so fun. Are you having enough? Where can we purchase some?
Well, it was on Wine Express, and it was there's a place. Wine Express was the one that would deliver around the country, so it's probably the most. But I'll make sure Allie sends you a bottle.
Oh my God, that's so sweet. And I know you have a home collection too. Is that right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, we have a lot of things. Furniture, rugs, sheets, a lot of different things.
And so that must be, you've got your hands in so many different things. Is your whole apartment furnished in your rugs and your stuff?
Because we do have some pieces, but most of my house and my apartment is done in 1950s French furniture.
Oh, how fun.
So it's mostly vintage pieces. But I do have Jonathan Adler rugs in the country, and I have my own licensee rugs too, and it all worked very well together. And then I have we have a furniture line, and I have a bunch of those pieces in the country and one piece in the city, but it all merchandised really well with my vintage pieces.
I love that. As a lifestyle brand, you just have to keep going. People want, are you going to do fragrance? Are you going to do what's next?
We've always had fragrance. We have fragrance. We have eye makeup. We have, a lot of skincare stuff. And then we have kids wear. We have little girls kids wear. We have little girls shoes. A lot of different categories.
That's incredible. That's a lot. I knew you were in home goods. I just wasn't sure.
Oh yeah, we love home goods.
I love that. And so when do you take time for yourself? How do you find that work-life balance? Because you've got all these different things, you've got different sections. It's not just about the women's wear. How do you divide your time and not go crazy? Are you just cooking at night? Are you meditating? Are you working out?
It's not really a problem. We do like work from home Fridays now. So I'm in the office Monday to Thursday. Thursday, we usually go out to Sag Harbor. And on the weekends, I always like water ski and wakeboard and
wow,
go to sports. Yeah. And in the winter, I ski. So anyway, so I spend like the weekend relaxing, but and then, I think, with my assistants and the staff here, we just divide up the work. And, we give everybody direction. We give them direction. They bring back ideas that we've given them ideas. They come back with their version of our ideas and we correct it and give them. So yeah, it's a full day's work every day.
It must be hard to put your phone down and not look, when you're on the slopes or when you're trying to relax, because I'm sure
nobody bothers me. Nobody bothers me. I have had times going down the slopes and I have an hysterical assistant on the phone, hysterical girl calling me and like, you wouldn't believe what's going on here. The crap is hitting the fan. It's crazy. And so-and-so is doing this and so-and-so is doing that. And I go, oh my God. But anyway, I haven't had any too crazy times like that lately.
And where do you ski?
Aspen mostly.
And I can't, so you ski on two skis or when you water ski, or do you slalom?
Oh, who skis on two skis?
I haven't skied since my honeymoon, but I could never start on one. I could start on two and drop one, but I can't start on one.
Yeah. Oh, I can start on one.
Athletic you are.
I prefer wakeboarding. I've been doing more wakeboarding this year than water skiing.
And that's just on your knees, right? Wakeboarding, or do you stand up?
No. It's like
a baby surfboard.
No, it's like a snowboard. It's like a snowboard.
Oh, I got you.
And you're strapped in with your 2 feet.
Who drives the boat? Do you have a boat?
Yeah, we have a boat. But we have a guy that comes and takes us.
Oh my God, I got to hang out with you. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's fun to hang out with me.
It sounds very fun, but I will tell you, I only want to ski on blue. I have no desire to go to green or black or anything. I am so happy on blue. I don't want to go that fast. It's hard to control my speed. I didn't learn how to ski till I was 35. So learning as an adult, I think, is much harder than if you're a kid.
I would think so. Yeah.
Have you been skiing since birth?
Pretty much. Well, I grew up in Massachusetts, so went in the mountains.
Yeah.
So, we always skied.
Well, you are definitely an outdoors woman. I would never have pegged you for that. You got the best of both. You got the best of both. That's so exciting. I want to know, how can people find you if they're interested in your home goods, your fragrance, your bathing suits, which I'm very interested in your bathing suits, and your rosé and your clothes and everything else. Where can we find you?
Well, Nicole Miller NYC is our Instagram, and NicoleMiller.com is our website. And not everything is on our website, but if you like Google any product like Nicole Miller rugs, you'll find the rugs. So if you Google any particular product, it'll show up, because, some are at different stores, but not everything. Everything will eventually all be on the website. But at this point, only some things are on. I think it's still just clothing for right now, but pretty soon everything will be on.
Do you have people that, are working TikTok for you and Instagram and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. Of course.
always, right? Tell us plug some of your quick favorite restaurants in New York City and museums.
Well, I love going to Pastis and Balthazar. Always go there. Always
love Balthazar.
Indochine is one of my all-time favorites. I go to Bilbo K a lot.
Love that.
I love this Thai place called the Tiger.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really good. Chinese tuxedo. So those are my mainstays. And
the museums that are your favorite, which are your favorite?
I love the Cooper Hewitt.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the Museum of Natural History.
That's nice. Yeah, I like it too. It's been a while since I've been there.
Yeah, and you can't go wrong with the Met.
Love the Met. I can't even get out of the bookstore in the Met. The store is just incredible to me.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, and then the Guggenheim.
Mm-hmm.
Guggenheim is great.
And last question.
And the Whitney, and obviously the Whitney.
Yeah, those your go-tos. What's your favorite ladies do lunch place?
Well, that's probably Bill Bouquet.
Oh yeah,
I always go to Bill Bouquet.
It's funny, we have that in
pasties. It's
pasties.
Pasties, yeah.
So, and you must be a tough critic if you're going out to eat and you're such a good cook. I'm just saying.
Oh, I'm a very tough critic.
I'm sure you're a tough critic.
I went to a fun place yesterday. I went to the Peak in Hudson Yards, which is like
I haven't been there.
Very top with an incredible view. It's over that edge, the edge. It's overlooking that.
And what kind of food?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you would describe that continental type cuisine. I mean, it's, but it was, really good food. It was really excellent.
Good drinks.
How much can you drink at lunch?
Maybe 1.5. Unless you're drinking a rosé, then.
Well, they did have a very good wine there, I must say.
Okay, good. We got to try. Those are good. Those are very good suggestions. I'm always looking for, better places to hang out and because you kind of in your area, it's so easy in New York. You just eat in the same circle, it's nice to.
Well, I gave you, some uptown and some downtown. So.
Yeah, for sure. This has been incredible. I am so grateful for your time with us and for our listeners. I'm going to get a million questions. You didn't ask her this. You didn't ask her that. Y'all didn't talk about this. So I'm sure I would love to invite you back for a follow-up interview if you're interested someday. Sure. And you are such a doll and you're so kind. And thank you for dropping your knowledge on us. And are there any last thoughts, words, any advice you want to give to people to, hit us up, give us some wisdom?
You've got to be your own advocate. You've got to always advocate for yourself and believe in yourself and, give yourself that kind of self-confidence, and that will help in your clothing choices too.
You heard it here first, folks. The one and the only 40-year veteran, Nicole Miller, coming at you with some truth bombs, giving us some advice, telling us like it is. We are so grateful for you to be a guest here on the Fashion Crimes Podcast. Just love this. Is going to be so excited to share with everybody. And I'm sure, like I said, everyone's going to have a follow-up question for you. So I'm so grateful for your time. And we've had such a lovely time talking to you today. I want everyone to know that you can go to the Fashion Crimes Podcast website, drop your email into the box. You will get all this free fashion content every single Friday in your inbox. And listen, this is just the beginning. Nicole Miller, who else can we get? I mean, the sky is the limit. And again, please follow us on social media, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram. My name is Holly Katz. I am your favorite personal stylist, the only Holly you need to know, and the best friend you never knew you needed in fashion. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Fashion Crimes Podcast, and we are out.